قاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة الجاهلية. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man mata wa lam ya'rif imam zamanihi," whoever dies without having known and recognized ask about this particular meaning of jahiliyyah, whether this jahiliyyah means only illiteracy, being ignorant, or does it mean being ignorant of the Imam himself? Imam alayhi salam said it is neither. This jahiliyyah is kufr. That means it applies to pre-Islamic era. A man who dies without having known his Imam, his time, dies as if he has not even embraced Islam. Now we, at the moment, are passing through the era which is called the era of intizar. Intizar means waiting, and therefore we are muntazir. Muntazir means those who wait, and Imam alayhi salam is known as muntazar, the one who is awaited. And it was for these days that Imam alayhi salam, especially if you read dua, qunut, ad'iyah qunut, means du'as recommended for qunut, which itself is mustahab. There is one dua which Imam alayhi salam said should be read in the days of intizar. These days when we are waiting for Imam alayhi salam to reappear, these are known as dua which we read every time, but actually this is meant for namaz al-subh. But it can be read any time, but actually it was for namaz al-subh. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O Allah, O most merciful, O the one who sees the hearts change, the hearts turn, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik, make my heart steadfast on your religion. For these are the days when people are shaken sometimes, especially in the matters of Imam al-Zaman, Ajjalallahu farajahu. And then, particularly, Imam Aimma alayhi salam were aware of what will be the testing period like. First, the prolonged absence. In one of the ahadith that is reported from our fourth Imam, Sajjad alayhi salam, Imam alayhi salam said, "Tamtaddul ghaiba bi waliyillah thani ashar min awsiya'i Rasulillah." Tamtad does not mean it will be prolonged. Tamtad means it will be extended. This particular word which Imam alayhi salam has used, tamtaddu, does not mean that it will be very long, it means it will be extended. That means no one can forecast or predict that now is the time that Imam should appear. Because it is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he may even extend further. And Imam says, tamtaddu, it will be extended. That means the final decision of the reappearance of Imam alayhi salam is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not even in the decision of Imam himself. I remember to have heard this, of course, myself, but It has also been written by Mullah Muhammad Jafar Sharif Devji in his book. There was a book which he wrote by the name of Ruh Atma in Gujarati, discussing about spirit and all that. But I heard himself from the majlis also, from the mimbar, saying that once upon a time in Mombasa years ago, there came a Joshi. A Joshi is one who predicts from India. Now we don't very much believe in Joshis. There are many Joshis. And in Gujarati it is said, Sachu khoto khuda jane, khoto bhar Joshi tane. Actually, the Joshis can tell you so many things, but sometimes they are all nothing but pretense. But the knowledge is there. Those who really know it, they know it. It is an ilm, established ilm. But the pretenders are many. But this Joshi came and he said he came to my shop. Marhum had a shop. He said that if you have anything which has been lost, very valuable thing, and you think that you cannot trace it, I'll be able to tell you where it is. Including if you have lost someone dear one to you, your son, your friend, and you can't trace him and you want to know whether he is still living or he has gone dead, I will tell you. Plus, in order to test me whether I am correct and I have any authentic knowledge or not, you write anything you like, don't show it to me, and I'll copy it, not only what you have written, but I'll copy your handwriting. That means I will write the way you write, without seeing how you write. In order to test him, Mullah Sahib says that I wrote in Gujarati, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But in Gujarati, transliteration of Bismillah, and the man sat before me for nearly 10 minutes, perspiring and sweating, but he could not write. And he said, leave this aside, this is beyond me, leave this aside. You just tell me if you would like to know anything about someone who has been missing. So he says, I told him, fine. I thought in my mind, Mullah Sahib used to say, that this is Ism A'zam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, written in any language, is Ism A'zam. And for a kafir to come to Ism A'zam is very difficult. If I had written my own name, perhaps he would have copied. But this is Bismillah. So I said, fine, I have a friend. But it is now years and years and years. Some people tell me that he will be born, or he is not even born. Some say that he is dead long ago. And some say that he does not exist. Can you find out for me whether he is there or not? So he started calculations, and then he said, I'll come tomorrow. Mullah Sahib said, I thought he will never come again. You see, but I told him, he said, I'll charge you 35 rupees. In those days, 35 rupees was quite a good sum. And in East Africa, we used to have rupees, not shillings. So Mullah Sahib says, I told him, I'll give you more. You just let me know. I'll pay you more to make you happier. He came the second day, he said, and unexpectedly he came. He came and he said, you told me that he was your friend. Perhaps you think you are his friend, but he is the master of this era. He is not an ordinary man. He is living. His eyes are on the sky and his hand is on the sword. He is waiting for the command to come so that he may reappear. Not an ordinary man. So Mullah Sahib said, I paid him much more than 35 rupees. I was so happy that he came with that answer. The question is that we are in the days of faraj, waiting for deliverance, waiting for that relief when Imam alayhi salam reappears. This is called the days of intizar. And the Prophet said that in the days of intizar, the best amal, the best deed is to remain waiting. Then he said, now the problem is that we are waiting. And then when the days come, sometimes people talk about the signs, when they say that the world will be corrupt before he reappears. There will be corruption everywhere. Religious people will have no say. The irreligious people will have say. Mimbar will be occupied by monkeys. That means those who don't deserve. Children will not listen to the parents. Parents will not mind about the children. We have so many signs, I don't have time to repeat. People say that now we must do this so that Imam comes. You see, we must, when all these signs must appear before he comes, therefore we must, in order to hasten the reappearance of Imam, we should start becoming corrupt. So that he comes, what we forget is that we were not supposed to be the perpetrators of the crime. We were supposed to be the victim of the crime. You see, the problem is this. This is the reason why the Prophet said, those who will be waiting in the days of intizar, ulaikal mukhlasoon, they will be the pure people. Shi'atuna, they will be our Shia. Wa manzilatuhum bayna yaday Rasulillah kal mujahideen. They will be before the Prophet like mujahideen and warriors. That means we will have to remain in this era as warriors, ready to fight, not to join the army of the corrupt people. That which will happen, but you don't have to say that you will do it in order to hasten the reappearance of Imam alayhi salam. Now when Imam alayhi salam will reappear, no one knows. But the signs are before us as we see. Some of the things which never happened before this have happened. Against all expectations, things are happening. I used to read those signs again and again. There were some signs which I never understood then, but now I can see it happen. One of the signs Shaykh Abbas al-Qumbi had written in the Farsi, which is there still for anyone to refer in Muntaha al-Amal. He says, the time will come when Arab will be free to go wherever he likes because of his money. We used to think in those days when Arabs do nothing but camels, as to what would happen, but today you can see what happens. In any part of the world, an Arab sheikh is welcome because of his money. And not only that he is welcome, but he has been able to corrupt the incorruptible societies also with his money. You see, and there is one more sign which is called the sign of the Dajjal. Now don't read those signs which are mentioned in Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari. We are not concerned with that. We are concerned with the Dajjal as mentioned by A'imma Ahlul Bayt, Salamullah alayhi wa ajmeen. Very strange, something which I used to read quite often, but it now becomes visible and tangible. He says, Imam alayhi salam said, when the Dajjal will appear, there will be scarcity of food, but he will be the controller of the mountain of grains. He will be the controller of the mountain of grains and abundant water supply. And people of the world, will be all influenced by his culture. And the culture will be, with the exception of the few people, the culture will be the culture of dancers and singers. You will see the whole world swinging around the same tune as taught by that man, except the few. This is the globalization of the culture which is taking place at the moment. The culture of dance and pop music and singing and swinging that is going around everywhere. The whole world is swinging around one tune, except those few who are considered to be either backward or orthodox or foolish. Imam al-Islam said this will happen before the reappearance of Hazrat Hujjat Salamullah alayh. And these are the Hatmi signs. There are two types of signs. One sign before the appearance is called Hatmi. Hatmi means definite sign. This is bound to appear. And we can see whether Dajjal presented figuratively means one person or means any particular influence is a matter of interpretation. But we can see what is happening as to who controls the grains and who controls the supplies and how the people are swinging around. And soon it will be worse than today. For then the jungle of Zimbabwe and Zaire and the metropolis of New York and other parts of America will swing one tune. You'll find them all in one, a nation of swingers. And those who will speak against it, they will be considered to be orthodox, or they are not aligned with the times, or whatever. Well, when Imam alayhi salam was commanded to go into concealment, there was only one concealment. For the sake of convenience, we called one concealment as ghaibat al-sughra and the other concealment as ghaibat al-kubra. There is nothing like ghaibat al-sughra and kubra. There is only one order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concealed. Why is ghaibat al-sughra called sughra? Let me explain. People were expecting that when Banu Abbas' reign and kingdom will be over, Imam will appear. Because Banu Abbas ruled for centuries. When any ruler rules for centuries, people of the time think that this man has come or this family has come to rule forever. Saddam has been ruling, Mal'oon La'atullah alayh, for a few years only. Since 1963 or 68, let us say to be exact. Now it's going to be 30 years. People find this very long. They ask each other, when will this be over? Mata Nasrullah. When is Allah going to help us? Right? And 30 years, but 30 years is nothing in comparison to the centuries ruled by Banu Abbas. And in one of the hadith, Mufid alayhi rahmah has written, one of the hadith, that the reappearance of Hazrat will occur after Banu Abbas's reign will be over. People interpreted that soon after. The Imam al-Islam did not say soon after. Imam al-Islam said after. That means it might take centuries after that. But Banu Abbas's reign came to stay for centuries. Till Halaku Khan came and destroyed it once and for all. Mongols. Well, so when they found after Banu Abbas's period that Imam al-Islam has not appeared, so they called that ghaibat sughra. And that which has now started from that day onwards, indefinitely they called it ghaibat kubra. But there is no ghaibat sughra or kubra, there is one ghaiba. There is one difference, however. That there used to be the time of niyabat khassa, and now is the time of niyabat amma. Niyabat khassa means appointed deputies, and niyabat amma means am and general deputies. Today our mujtahideen who are a'lam and muqalladeen, they are deputies of imam but not appointed. They are naib imam but am. But there was a time when there were four who were deputies of imam appointed by Imam alayhi salam. Why? Because it was the beginning of ghaiba. In the beginning of ghaiba, Imam alayhi salam wanted some contact to remain because some work remained unfinished. By the time the work finished, Imam alayhi salam declared that now there is no ghaibat, no niyabate khas. The first naib is Usman ibn Amru, who used to be the wakil of Imam Ali al-Naqi, Imam Hassan Askari salamullah alayhi. Now, the days were of taqiyya, the days were of hiding, the days where they could not declare themselves to be partisans of Aimma. People used to give khums to whom? To Uthman ibn Amr. Why? Because he had a business of his own. He used to sell oil, packed oil, oil cans, and all those things like ghee and everything that he used to use. In fact, he was known as Ibn Amru as-Samman, waiting, selling oil. What he used to do was that when he came, in those days there was no transportation by cars, of course, it's on the camels or in the donkeys. When he loaded them, among those cans or whatever you call it, oil barrels or whatever, there used to be one barrel full of khums money. And when he used to come to Imam's door in Samarra, he would say, Yabda Rasulillah, are you in need of any ghee or oil? I have brought one can for you. And he will offload the can with the khums money. Yaman came to give money to Imam alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam said, give to Uthman ibn Amru, he will come. The people asked him, Yabda Rasulillah, sometimes we cannot come to you. If there is any mas'ala, who should we refer to? Imam said, refer to Amru as-Samman. Whatever he says is what I say. He lived. Imam alayhi salam's martyrdom took place. Imam Hassan Askari came. Imam Hassan Askari appointed him as wakil and said, Huwa wakili wa wakilu ibni al-Mahdi. He is my wakil and the wakil of my son, Mahdi alayhi salam. Not only that, but Uthman ibn Amr is the one who actually, together with our 12th Imam, gave ghusl to 11th Imam. But giving ghusl to Imam is Imam's prerogative. If you want to join there, you have to take the permission of the Imam. The only one who joined Imam Mahdi alayhi salam in the tender age to give ghusl to our 11th Imam was Uthman ibn Amr. When he approached death, Imam alayhi salam wrote a letter. That letter is called Tawqi'. Handwritten letter by Imam with his mohr is called Tawqi'. And we have a book of Tawqi'at. It means the book which contains letters which came from Imam alayhi salam on various occasions. When he died, Imam alayhi salam wrote a letter to his son, who he appointed as his second wife. His name was Muhammad bin Uthman. Imam alayhi salam says in that letter, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We are for Allah, and unto Him we shall return. Your father's death has left a gap. He was our trusted man, and it was because of his good deeds that Allah gave him a son like you. It was a compliment to Muhammad. Because of his good deeds, Allah gave him a son like you, which is a rahmat for the family, and it is a comfort for the ummah. لَقَدْ طَيَّبَ اللَّهُ أَنفُسَ الْأُمَّةِ بِمَكَانِكَ. Because of your status, Allah has granted relief and comfort to the ummah. Continue the work. He continued the work. The total tenure of father and son is 47 years after Imam appointed the first. 47 years, father and son. Now, when the son now, Muhammad, was dying, he was very old. And there were some ulama who used to come there always to learn from him. One was Ja'far ibn Ahmad, great, pious, virtuous alim, very close to Muhammad ibn Ibrahim. People thought that Muhammad will be asked by Imam to appoint Ja'far ibn Ahmad. One reason was this. Second reason was that when the second naib became very infirm and old and invalid, Ja'far ibn Ahmad used to send him food, all his requirements. So people were sure that Ja'far will be appointed. When he was on dying bed, people said, Ya Muhammad, hal warad an-nas? Have you been given the nas appointment as to who is next to follow? He said, La. So far not. Now at that time, Ja'far ibn Ahmad was sitting near the head of Muhammad, and Hussein ibn Rawh was sitting at the feet. People could understand the arrangement was that whoever sits at the head, inshallah, will succeed. And suddenly Muhammad ibn Uthman opened his eyes and said, I have been commanded that Hussein ibn Rawh will follow me. When Hussein ibn Rawh's name was taken, this is the sincerity that was required, that Ja'far ibn Ahmad stood up. He took Hussein ibn Rawh by the hand and said, you have the right to sit at the head and I will sit at the feet. For you have been appointed by Imam. And Hussein ibn Rawh Nawbakhti was the wakil of Imam alayhi salam. One of our ulama, whose name is Sheikh Saduq alayhi rahmah, his father is also called Saduq. His father is Ali ibn Hussein, Ali ibn Muhammad Babawayh. Saduq, whom we know as Saduq, is Muhammad ibn Ali al-Babawayh. Ali, that is the father, says that I had no children. I went to Hussein ibn Rawh. Now this is a faqih. Ali ibn Hussein Babawayh is faqih, a mujtahid of his era. He went to Hussein ibn Rawh and said, you are the wakil of our Imam, Naib Khas. Ask Imam to pray for me that I may have a son. Hussein said, I will ask, I will write. He wrote a letter. After some time the answer came, said, Ya Hussein ibn Rawh, tell him that from this marriage there is no children, no issue. But he will marry a woman from Dailam and he will get 2 sons. Both of them will be faqih and mujtahid. And after some time he married again because of having no children. And the woman was from Dailam. And Sheikh Saduq and his brother were born of that mother. In every meeting, because Saduq was so brilliant and memory was so sharp, that people used to be actually amazed at Saduq alayhi rahma's brilliance. And he used to say, don't be surprised, for I was born with the dua of Imam Sahib al-Asr. Because of so many muraji'at and so many references to Hussein ibn Rawh, to get things done through him from our Imam alayhi salam, the sunnah has remained till today, that when we write Ariza, on the Ariza the name is Ya Hussein ibn Rawh. People say that this Ariza is a concoction. People have manufactured it. My answer is very simple. If you don't have any faith in it, don't write. Makusha manenu. Who is telling you that Ariza is wajib? Has anybody told you? But the contact which has been promoted and encouraged is to prove that I live in an era where my Imam is alive and is aware of what is happening to me. And therefore, Ariza is not only for 15th of Shaban. People don't know this. Ariza is at any time, God forbid. All of us do face difficulties in life. Sometimes difficulties are so severe that we don't know what to do. Immediately write to your Imam in any language you prefer, in any language you know, on any paper, not necessarily the paper provided by Jamaat. No, any paper. Write to him and put it in the flowing water, put it in a well, put it anywhere you like, bury it. It will reach your Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu Farajah. Very simple philosophy. If you don't want to do it, it's not wajib. But try and see what happens when a man writes with his heart in that piece of paper which goes to his Imam. Not one, there are thousands and thousands of instances where he, the master of this age, our Imam in the Parda, looks at us, prays for us, saves us from predicaments. He is our master. We are not aware of it. We believe that he doesn't know anything. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. When any mu'min dies in any part of the world, Imam told his Sahabi, Imam Zaman al-Salam, whenever any mu'min dies worth his name, in any part of the world, I am there. People consider me as one of them, they don't know me. I can come in any shape of any person, but I am there. In every Hajj, I am there. In every Umrah, I am there. And I see, and at times I go and I meet them, but they don't know that I am the Imam. When Hussein ibn Rawh approached death, then of course he appointed finally Abu Hassan as-Samuri. Fourth one. 6 days before his death, 6 days. The fourth one was quite healthy. There were no signs of death, but 6 days before he died, a letter arrived from Hazrat Hujjat Salamullah alayh. Yabna Samuri, O Samuri's son, Ya Abul Hassan, فَإِنَّكَ سَتَمُوتُ بَعْدَ 6 أيام. You are going to die after 6 days. And you are the last, and there's going to be no further appointment. We are all grateful to you for the services you have rendered. Now it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to command me to reappear whenever He wishes. The ulama, who are the holders of our knowledge, they will represent us as general deputies. It is for the people to refer to them for guidance. They are hujjat upon you, authority, and I am hujjat upon them. No one will be able to see me and claim that he sees me regularly. No, the way you see me, no. That means anyone now claims special deputyship the way you have, because you see me and we meet each other. If anybody claims, فَهُوَ كَذَّابٌ, he is a liar. So there is no special deputyship. It doesn't mean that you can't see Imam, you can, but not the way these deputies did and met. Not that way at all. And he died, declaring the end of 27, 26 years of these last two, 28 years, and 47 years of, altogether 74 years. So people have a tendency of calling this as ghaibat al-sughra. That means small ghaiba, 74 years, and then ghaibat al-kubra. It's all one ghaibah. There is nothing like Suhra and Kubra. It is one ghaibah going till such time when Imam alayhi salam will appear. We are living in this era, our duty is to prepare ourselves and to prepare our children for Imam alayhi salam. This is what. The world will go against us. They will talk lots of things. But let me tell you one thing, my friend, as Imam alayhi salam wrote to Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, when he appointed him the Khalifa of Egypt, he said, "Oh Muhammad, people will talk to you about economics, economic upliftment. They will talk about politics, awareness. They will talk about culture. They will talk to you about civilization. They will talk to you about thousands of things which are necessary for human society. Oh Muhammad, everything is true. All those requisites for human development are true. The hub of it is deen. If there is no deen, all these things will proliferate and destroy you. But if there is deen, these things will help you because it is based on fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, O Muhammad, the simplest thing is this, that when the time of namaz enters, pray immediately on time. Imam al-Islam has said, but the moment time appears, stand up and pray, for this gives you practice. That when Allah calls you, unless you have some such work which is inevitable, you stand up and you'll find that every program of yours follows the way you follow namaz. The community of ours requires everything. We require sports, yes we do. We require economic upliftment, we require educational institutions, yes. There is no doubt about it. But it has got to rotate around a deen. If there is no deen in between, and all these achievements are made, you'll find that everything is lifeless, not only lifeless, but self-defeating. And you can take examples after examples in any community where all those things have happened, but in between the pivot is not there. Imam al-Zaman Ajjallahu Faraj al-Sharif wants us to do this. Around this, build as much as superstructure as you like. May Allah give us, I have just begun because the day of his birth, inshallah, is there after 2 or 3 nights. On that night, of course, we will tackle the subject from different era altogether. Today, from different angle altogether. Today, we at least have and try to understand that this is the meaning of intidhar. When you say Allahumma ajjil, in our ziyarah we say, Assalamu alaikum ya Sharik al-Qur'an, Assalamu alaikum ya Ka'bat al-Iman, Assalamu alaikum ya Imam al-Insi wal-Jan, Ajjal Allahu farajak. It is with ayn. Ajjal Allah. Ayn. Those of us who say Ajjal Allah farajak means may Allah delay it. Because if you put alif, same word, but if you put alif, ajjala, ajjala means delay. Ana ajjal, yani ta'akhar. You see, but if you say ajjal Allahu farajah ta'jil, ayn, that means may Allah hasten your reappearance. Ajjal Allahu farajak is the word, not ajjal Allah. Ajjal Allah means may Allah make it as distant as possible so that we may enjoy our times. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.